seconds into the course. And a couple of years ago, Bodie Miller rode up that fence and was actually second. I didn't quite make it that far. And as I was explaining in the car, I thought I was going to make it. You know, you come close to that guardrail, and I just turn the wheel a little more, put a little pressure on my left foot and make it around, but it didn't happen. I got my hand caught in the net, and then about 110 kilometers an hour, I got my ski caught in the net, my ski tip. That was the last thing, I pretty much saw before I hit the ground, was my ski tip going halfway up the net and ripping my leg completely backwards. And I was lying in the snow after I'd come to a stop, and I thought I was going to be all right, but I just was numb from my chest down to my feet. And I had my coach come and unbuckle the boots, and the feeling came back in my feet, but I was still numb in this area. And I said, can they just slide me down from the steep part of the Stemmle? The Stemmle is like incredibly steep until you really visualize it firsthand when you see it yourself. I felt like I was still lying on part of the Stemmle. And what I didn't realize till about a year after, when I saw my coach again, was I was actually on the flattest part of the hill. My pelvis had broken so badly inside of me, I was lying at a 45-degree angle. So it was not terribly painful at that time, just really uncomfortable. And then they lifted me up in the helicopter, as you saw, and that alleviated some of the pain. The last thing I remember is the paramedic asking me if I'm okay and if I have Schmerzen, which is pain, and I said no. And I think because he must have given me some drugs, because I was out about a minute after that, after I saw the top of the mountain in Kitzbühel. So they took me to the local hospital, knew I was in rough shape, flew me to Innsbruck. I had 3 operations on Saturday to repair my broken pelvis and all the internal injuries. I had 25 blood transfusions because they couldn't get the blood to stop. I was just bleeding internally so badly. The fellow in intensive care beside me had 20 that night, and he died. He was in a car accident. So I was in grave danger. They gave me a 50-50 chance of living on Saturday, January 14th. On Sunday, I had another operation, and the people there, thank goodness it was a teaching hospital. Thank goodness I wasn't in the middle of Italy or somewhere else, because Innsbruck and the people there saved my life. They gave me a 50-50 chance of living. Not even walking. My parents flew over, and my dad asked the doctors, he said, what are Brian's chances of walking again, maybe skiing recreationally? And the doctor said, we give him a 50-50 chance of living right now. We don't know if he can fight off all this infection that has been created inside of him because of this terrible accident that he's had in the big fall in Kitzbühel. So I slowly started to get better. I was in a drug-induced coma for 5 days, breathing on a respirator. They took me off the respirator on my dad's birthday on Thursday, January 19th. And that's when the pain really started. This unbearable, excruciating pain. I explain it to the guys. It's like getting kicked in the nuts, and you go down. Everybody, none of the guys are laughing, right? You go down, and you're throwing up, and you finally get back up. You have enough courage and strength to get back up, and somebody kicks you again. It lasted for 2.5 weeks. For the ladies, I explain it like having childbirth, like giving a child, or having a child, not that being in labor, not that I know, but I've watched that Life channel, and I've seen that. It's even worse than getting kicked in the nuts. I don't know how you guys do it, but it was really, really horribly difficult to get through that. But I got through it, and they flew me back to Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto. I spent 2.5 months there in the hospital. I had all I could do was lie in bed because of my broken pelvis. I couldn't move, and just had little goals of sitting up in bed like this a little bit every day and going back down. That was a big feat for me. There I was, an Olympic athlete in 1988, the year before, and now I can barely move, just lifting my head up a little bit. So I had these big bald spots. Or one big bald spot in the back of my head had a mullet, and I was trying to cover it up, like holding it over the top, but I can't do that anymore because they're in the front. And I would was just lying there, you know, sitting up in bed, and then I was shuffling down the hall like my grandmother does, about this fast, and I thought that was pretty good. And I slowly started to get better. And that was a big thing for me, setting little goals for myself, doing a little bit better each and every day. And I focused on getting strong, gaining my strength, and going back to ski racing for some insane reason. I still wanted to be a ski racer. I had that much passion for it. I didn't want to let my dream die. I remember I watched a movie called The Dream Never Dies. It was about the crazy Canucks. And I went and saw it with my friend Chaz Burkett. We were 12 years old. And I didn't realize this. I never thought of myself as like a Tiger Woods protege, you know, focused on golf. And he was going to be the immaculate golfer ever since he was 3. It was just fun for me, as I said earlier. But my friend Chaz, I saw him about 5 years ago in Whistler, and he said, you know, when we walked out of that movie, you said to me, I'm going to be one of those guys one day. And I didn't want to let that dream die. For some reason, I didn't remember ever having said it, but I knew in my heart I just wanted to be a ski racer. So I focused my attention back to getting healthy, back to ski racing again, and I did it. A year and a half later, I came back. I won the Pan American Games in South America. It was against the U.S. and Canada. It was a windy day on a shortened downhill, about 50 seconds long, and I got really lucky, but ended up winning my first race back, and that was cool. It wasn't a big deal, but it wasn't like racing the World Cup. But I wanted to get back to the World Cup, and I did. And started doing well again. Then I raced in the Olympics in 1992 in Albertville. You saw the fall there. I tore both my rotator cuffs in training, and basically my coach had to kick me out of the start on race day because I couldn't put my downhill suit on. I couldn't lift my shoulders above here, which sometimes is a good thing as a skier, so you can't go. So, you know, just get my arms perfect. But I was slow. I was 23rd. I raced in Lillehammer in 1994, and didn't do very well there. I was 26th. I'd fallen in Calgary, so 3 Olympic Games, no medals. And that's what you really hope for as an Olympic athlete. And I tell people, oh, I've been in 3 Olympic Games. Oh, how many medals did you win? First question all the time. How many medals have you won? None. Well, at least you participated. You don't want to hear that as an Olympian. You know, you want to win a medal. That's why we work so hard to try and do it. So I focused my sights on the 1998 Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan. And I was going to win a gold medal for me and my country, my family. And how I did that was this simple piece of paper, about that big. I kept in my pocket for 6 months. Every single pair of pants I wore, I kept this in my pocket. And what it says is Nagano Gold. Japanese mint display shows both sides of the gold medal to be awarded at the 1998 Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan. So it has the medal on there. So every pair of pants I wore, jeans going to a movie with my friends, shorts to work out in, ski pants, I had this in my pocket. And what it was a constant reminder of what I wanted to accomplish on that day, and that was win a gold medal. So I focused my attention completely on it, consumed me, that 2 minutes of that downhill in Nagano. I pictured myself going down it. I pictured cameras seeing me ski the perfect run. I pictured my coach watching me have the perfect run. I pictured speaking Japanese, eating Japanese. Somewhere else with the women, but no. Abstain from that. And just in that 2 minutes, I never thought past the finish line. I didn't think about opening up champagne and spraying it on chicks and, you know, winning tons of money and anything like that. Just that 2 minutes of what exactly I want to do on that run. And I got there. I was feeling really good, had some great training runs. I was 6th in 2 training runs, and they did the draw the night before. And I had a chance to, I was in the top 30, so anywhere from 1 to 30 I could have drawn a number. And the weather was pretty warm at that time in Nagano, so the early numbers were going to be the best. The course is going to soften up, rut up. The later numbers weren't going to be that